University. Great to have you here with us on TRT World. Tell me, what is your navigation through the political drama unfolding in the country right now?
Thank you very much. Well, I think firstly, we must remember that it's not just the impeachment process of President Yoon Suk Yeol that is due to start very soon in the next week. Actually, it's also the impeachment of the former acting president, Han Duck-soo. We must remember that he was impeached. A motion to impeach him was filed successfully just over 2 weeks after the impeachment of President Yoon. So there's been a lot of scandal, and there has been a lot of confusion as to the process. I think what's interesting to note, though, is that obviously the political landscape in South Korea is very polarized between the left, the leftist opposition, and the ruling conservatives. But interestingly, in the past week or so, President Yoon, the suspended but still sitting president, his approval ratings have experienced a slight uptick. And I think that's perhaps quite interesting and quite important to note on the part of popular reactions to all of this.
And you know, Edward, what I find interesting is the fact that it's been over 1 month now and the political drama in the country appears to be not ending anytime soon. And what I would like to ask you here is, to what extent do you think this whole situation is going to have a long-term impact on South Korea? Because I understand there is a lot of political instability in the country right now.
Well, I think we need to be clear that democracy in South Korea is alive and well and is resilient. The initial declaration of martial law by President Yoon Suk Yeol, former president, on the 3rd of December, that only lasted for 6 hours, in line with due process and the Constitution. But I think that the challenges South Korea will face moving forward are not only to do with the stability in terms of domestic politics and the eventual outcome of any constitutional court ruling on Yoon Suk Yeol, whether to remove him for good or to restore him to power, but also in terms of South Korea's foreign policy, particularly at a time of change in Washington with the Trump administration and with the Ishiba administration only recently taking power in Tokyo.
And Edward, how do you think ongoing domestic tensions in the country impact South Korea's relationship with the North?
Well, we know that even before all of these incidents and before the declaration of martial law, relations between North and South Korea were at a low and nadir. We know that North Korea likes to exploit any issues in the South, and it has done so already in the last few days. And even actually, only yesterday, North Korea conducted a launch of a hypersonic missile. Okay, at a time when the US Secretary of State, Antony Blinken, is in Seoul for what will most likely and highly likely be his last visit to South Korea. So I think at the moment, relations between South and North Korea are not good, but this really isn't a direct consequence of the martial law scandal. The martial law scandal, in fact, has only heightened and exacerbated North Korea's ability to exploit problems in the South, which it has long done. This is part and parcel of North Korea's playbook to try and show that South Korea is weak and the regime in Pyongyang is stable, as those in North Korea would call it.
Fascinating insights. Edward Howell, thanks very much for joining me here on TRT World. I really appreciate your taking out the time.